Hey guys, welcome to my page. I wanted to show you how to do a quick single crochet pattern. So this is how I typically start. I wrap the yarn around my two middle fingers, put the hook through the loop and pull the string through the loop and pull to start the chain. So I'm just going to put my hook through my loop and then I'm going to hold the string in between my middle finger and my index finger to keep the tension correct. And then I'm just going to grab the string that I'm holding in my fingers through the loop that's on my hook repeatedly until I get the desired length. And me holding the string in between my two fingers is just going to help make sure that my loops are not too loose and that we have some structure when we're crocheting the single chain. So this is what it should look like when you're done with whatever length you want it. I think 14 or 15 stitches should be a good start for somebody that's beginning. But yeah, that's what it should look like generally when you're starting your chain. And once we get the desired length we want, we're just going to turn our work like to align with our body. I like to say vertical to my body. It could be horizontal, however you want to think about it. Anyway, I turn my work and I'm not going to make my stitch on the first stitch here. I'm going to make it on the second stitch. You see that picture I made right there? That's where we're going to make the stitch, okay? It's going to help make things and keep things very square, very clean and cut. So I'm going to drive my hook in that stitch I just showed you guys, wrap my yarn around my hook, pull it through that stitch. So now I have two loops on my hook, wrap it around one more time and pull that string through both of those loops. And that is how you do the first stitch on the second row of your single crochet pattern. So yeah, keep doing that all the way down in each individual stitch. Make sure you're not putting two stitches in one or reducing it by one and making your work shrink, because that is what typically people do when their work is curling up and it's not staying flat. You're either skipping stitches or you're adding too many. So make sure you just either you can count your stitches to make sure you're not doing that, or you can just be very diligent in making sure that you're putting your hook in one stitch at a time. So let's circle back to this picture. The ones that I circled here, that right there is one stitch, okay? You want to insert your hook in the front loop. The front loop is the top loop and the back loop is the bottom loop. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. Okay, so once you get to the end, it should look a little bit something like this. You know what I mean? Kind of rectangle. Yeah, so this is what it should look like when you get to the end right here. And once you get to the end, you're going to make sure you pull your yarn to get the tension back to where it needs to be. And you're going to chain one so you can begin the next row, which is row 3. And flip your work, slow motion, flip your work, vertical, horizontal, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now we're going to put our hook in the first stitch. We're going to put our hook underneath the front and back loop. Can you see how my hook is underneath both of those? Here. See that gap? That's where we want our hook to go. Underneath both now the front loop and the back loop. And you know, sometimes I have to pull this really annoying starter string right there. I have to pull it out of my way because it gets in my way of seeing the stitch. So it could be shorter. Maybe that's the problem. Learn from my mistakes. But yeah, keep on going down each stitch, creating your wraparound pull through. Now I have 2. Wraparound pull through. Now I have 1. I literally just made that up. So yeah, continue that all the way down. I'm sure I'm not the first person to make that up. So this is what it should look like when you get to the end of row 3. And we want to make sure we're getting that last stitch. Don't skip that one. So just insert your hook like regular, like you did all the other ones. Wrap it around, pull it through. Now you have 2. Wrap it around, pull it through. Now you're back to 1. Yep, so we're going to pull that through. And this is what it's going to look like at the end of row 3. This is what we have here. So to start row 4, we're going to make sure we're going to chain 1 at the end of row 3 and flip our work again. And just repeat those same steps until you get the desired length that you want. And that's just how easy the single crochet pattern is. So boom, now we're at the end of row 4, and this is what it should look like relatively. Make sure that you're chaining 1 at the end of each row. You're not adding stitches or skipping any, and your work should not curl up like I know a lot of people's work tends to do when they're beginners. So I hope that was easy enough for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.